Hello and good evening, and Andy and Amanda. How are you tonight?
Yeah, good. Monday, yeah?
Yeah, been busy, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, pretty busy, obviously. So. But we promised to clean for everybody. We're talking about food to start with tonight, Amanda, aren't we? What did we have last night?
We had
The best subject.
We had some burgers as a takeaway.
Yeah. Have you ever used Uber Eats, Colleen? Oh, sorry. Anyway, we're generally asking here because everyone's obviously all other providers, should say, third-party providers.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I won't use that word first word. But a certain provider of third party delivers, picks food up for you. Me and Amanda are on. We got a 50% cold off yesterday. And we went over to, it was only quite a small takeaway around the corner of us. And I had this big burger, a chicken, cheese stack pork pounder with potato waffles in. And there was about 4 or 5 things in it. Oh, it was very nice, actually. And chips. And what are you on, Amanda?
I had a big chicken burger.
That's but what does chicken burger was it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and what it would have cost, Colleen, would have cost us about £18 if we'd got it with fries. But we got a 50% cold off it, so we got it for about a tenner. So
good.
It was a good deal. Very, very nice it was. So, whether we paid £18 is another ball game, but yeah.
You should be eating chicken anyway. You should be eating chicken anyway because it's good for you. It's good for colds and
I think
the
they
kind
mean,
of
like grilled chicken though. I don't think they mean like big greasy fried chicken in a burger.
No.
It works.
I still works. What you get sometimes, you go to some takeaways. There's some people bear in mind sometimes, well, with what food is. The one we had last night, it wasn't greasy at all, was it?
No.
And I've had those sort of alternatives.
Well, there was a lot of batter on it, and batter's not good.
Well, you had batter, I didn't have batter. So.
I had batter.
But it wasn't greasy, was it? So, no, that's me, did it? So, what have you been eating, Clean? Anything unusual you can report?
No, it's the same thing of the lunch deal that I normally have, that I rather have now than going to the other more known high street chain of fast food places. It's the one where you have like a good many really, really, really excellently done chicken wings you can have it with fries, but they also give you like celery and a dip that's so fresh and refreshing that it's really worth that meal deal.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, obviously, we don't try to name firms, of course, but obviously, we generally do find that some of these places are not clean. You can get really good deals sometimes in some places you can. There's a certain Irish supermarket firm, which I'm not going to name, but it's in central Manchester now. Once a week, and I've been going in there clean, and I've been getting big. And it's basically a bacon and sausage, basically baguette roll for £2.50. And I went in work last Wednesday. And remember what I told you? I had 2 people say to me in 15 minutes, "Is that for the team?"
It's like, no, it's all for me. And then you ate it with a big smile in your face. It was,
when I got in clean, I was absolutely soaked wet. It was pouring down, and it's cold wind, was frozen and hungry. So I sat there with this massive baguette. I kid you not, I ate a lot in about 15 minutes. I didn't eat till 1 o'clock after that. I was absolutely stuffed. Perfect. Well done. It shows that you can get good bargains and you can definitely.
Yeah.
So that one for sure, Clean. So, what else have you been up to, Clean? Have you been up to anything else?
Well, funnily enough, the person who started it, one of the partners who started it, is from your part of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And they started it off as a small stall in one of on the high street, and it became really popular. And then they came to London, but he's from Amanda's part of the world. I think Bradford or somewhere like that.
Yorkshire man, is it?
I don't. Yeah, and he'd come in like with a box of food or products, and that was at the very beginning when it all started up. And I went in because I thought it was open, and they said no, we're still renovating, we're still doing the place. And then he'd come in with big boxes, and I said, "Oh, you're hard at work, aren't you?" He go, "Yeah." Knowing that you're always like moving about, they don't really stop around, do they?
Oh, God, no. Definitely. So, Amanda, did you see us in news for Colleen before?
Oh, I've got a short story that seems to have been accepted, but I haven't actually had confirmation yet. And then I've got my audio book that's on the way to being produced. I'm just listening and approving it now.
Oh, which one was this then?
First Charge.
First Charge, all right. That's a young adult fiction book, Colleen. So that's all.
Oh, nice.
I knew you mentioned half-mentioned something to it this morning like that, didn't you? So when you called me and was 3/4 asleep.
But I'm fairly certain the short story is going to get published because they've done a lot of editing with it and they wouldn't have put that much work into it if they didn't want it.
Yeah, they should have done all right there. Definitely that one, so that's for sure. So, what have I been up to? I've had some feature go on some Indian websites while they're interviewing myself. But yeah, just plodding along really.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm at home this week, so it's a podcasting week for me this week. So I chatted yesterday, Colleen. I'll send you a link over there. Listen, I chatted yesterday and spoke on label to a young country singer from Manchester called Charlotte Mary. And we've seen her several times, Amanda, haven't we?
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She's only pretty young, but she's got an unbelievable talent, she has, Colleen. One of the best live singers I've heard, actually, in a long time. And I think she'll go somewhere as well. So, like I said, she was telling me quite candidly yesterday about mental health problems that she's been having herself over lockdown.
I know. This is what's been in the news, that there's just been so many young students having mental health problems because they're not used to this.
Yeah, I have heard that myself, and it's bizarre, really, because I would have thought really with this, and it's not. I'm not being able.
No.
You would have thought it would hit the older people more, and I know people and the older generation. Like there's a lady we know, and I'm not naming, who was my mum's age, and her and her husband, who I did. I've done a session chatting both of us later recently. I know her quite well, and she's been telling us both, man, actually, like she's been really struggling with it because they're not allowed to leave the house. But it's the younger people. You are hearing a lot of stories about students and stuff that are breaking the lockdown rules blatantly because they're just not prepared to put up with it, and it's really, really worrying. That's why.
I wouldn't have thought the older generation would be affected by this because they're used to, like, I'm used to going to a library, but nowadays you just turn on your computer, switch on the computer, and you've got your library or the archives on the internet.
Yeah,
like before, I'd go to the library.
I think it depends on the person really, because in our case, like it's hit us on it, man, really, because I'm going to stay there. Sorry, I can go away with it. But we were used to Colleen. The different man. We were used to going out, weren't we? Quite a few times. Moved to various literature nights.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer like being at home and writing and having time to myself, but I like having the option, to go out a couple of times a month. And now I've not got that option, and it's been months since I've seen anybody.
Off Christmas Day.
Yeah.
When we saw my mum and dad in the bubble. Well, so I think that was the
big. Weren't you at home when you were at school or when you were younger, just from home going to school and then going to the library and back? You never had that?
Not really. Not my case. Not really. No. I used to go to school when I was younger and go home afterwards, and I didn't have, and it's not been horrible saying I didn't have difficult school days in secondary school. And Amanda's one was even worse than mine, actually, truth be told to you. So, I was at bad school. I mean, Amanda, you don't mind saying this, do you? Like, you had a bit of a bad time, didn't you, when you were that age?
Yeah, I went to a lot of schools, so I didn't do well at any of them.
That's why, I said it was like, I didn't remember my case, Glenn. I didn't have any friends at school, don't you? It's quite telling that when you know what you say, school's the happiest days of your lives. Mine was probably the most miserable, and I probably came away from school with probably one real friend who I still speak to. I've known him over 35 years now. But there's all people that I see around, but there's not a lot of getting in contact with school.
Right, that's really strange.
Yeah, it happens, Colleen. I said I didn't have a good time.
I think that's why I got really depressed as well when I was at school, because you get everybody saying that to your school days are the happiest days of your life. So it
was mine, yeah.
It's the happiest days. It's like it's going to get worse, and it just makes you think. So that's why I got into the thing where I was just so depressed, because I thought, well, it's just going to get worse as I get older.
And mine were the happiest because we just did our work, did art, then went on school trips, and then we just did quite a few things like sports, and then sixth form I chose to go to sixth form because I liked school.
No,
And
that's fair play. I had a great time at uni. I really had a good time at uni. Uni was brilliant for me. I had really, really good time at university. And when I went to Bolton Uni when I was 28, I think I was old enough then to deal with people by that stage. But it didn't go right for me at all. It didn't when I was younger. I just didn't have a good time. But it happens when you're younger sometimes. Those sort of things. Things don't always go the way you want to go. So, but as I said, but yeah, it's what it is. Better said. But yeah, back to what you said. The previous point was about the isolation and use of the floor cleaning. But there's been lots, haven't they? I've read it about younger students really struggling more over the virus than the older people have. But we both know stories about both sides, don't we?
Yeah.
I know a few people. I know it's 2 people clean. They've been sections because of the lockdown. That's why they've been put in psychiatric hospitals because they're cracked up. And that's the one thing that's come from this virus is you see how vulnerable some people are in society itself.
It's a tough thing to choose, isn't it? It's like you can say, okay, well, we'll lift all the lockdown and people can die, or we'll just keep it and people can suffer from mental illness. It's not really a good choice to make either way.
No, far from it.
We managed when we were younger. I mean, I don't recall anybody being sectioned just for going to school, then the library, then to what was known as the place to go to, and it starts with the letter W.
No, it's fair point. Society has changed a lot over the past 20 years, 10 years even. Whether it's for the better, that's not for us to decide. But yes, a good point. You do like it, don't you? There's an argument that I've read it before. I don't know what both of your opinions are very quickly as well. Is where they say children nowadays are too mollycoddled. I'm not going to get involved in that argument. What do you both think?
I suppose so. You know, when I was younger, I didn't have many friends in school, but I had friends who lived near me, and I'd be out all over the estate until about 10 o'clock at night. And these days, it's like you don't get that as much to just indoors and playing games and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fair point because as my sister's at the moment, just in high risk league, she's got I've lost track. Was she 13?
I think so, something like that.
He's 12, 13, my nephew is now. He's 13, just turned 13. I have to think now a second. My sister's been telling me, because I speak to her fairly regularly, like it is, she's going to have trouble getting Jack to get back in the swing of the school because he's more used to playing computer games, talking to his mates on computer games all the time. And and you think really, when you're at school now, the children doing school nowadays, it's a very different environment to what it had been when we were growing up doing school and stuff.
Really?
Pretty much, really, because computers were only just starting to come in when I was at school. But nowadays, they're in every lesson nowadays, and it's been done a very different way at the moment. And I feel sorry for the kids, don't you? I generally do. I can see why some are having trouble.
Yeah, but do you know why it's going to be so sorry for them? Probably we're going to be quick because you said 13 minutes. It's because the internet seems to be going down, in our opinion, and we're going to revert back to that time when we didn't have a computer. So to go from having a computer to not having the internet because of various reasons is going to be a difficult transition.
There was talk, and I think I've read this somewhere, I told you that as Amanda as well, just after lockdown bridges started, that was talk going around, we're going to have they reckon the internet could have gone down at one point at the beginning of it because the access to the use of it.
Probably will do now. Yeah.
No, I don't think it will now. I think back when the lockdown first started, there was a threat of it. And we had a couple of stumbles on the night, didn't we?
Yeah.
On our side alone. But it seemed like what I think they've done, they've boosted the signal nowadays. And the other thing to bear in mind is the workplace itself, when this all recovers, is going to be the same with schools. Society would have been probably moved forward 20 or 30 years over a year because it's been dragged kicking and screaming. Like we said, the way society can operate and stuff, but it's going to be a very different place, that's for sure. We'll tell them afterwards, so I might say that one. So, all right, okay, Colleen, it is now just on nearly 15 minutes, so I'm going to call it quits tonight.
Good night, everyone. Ta-ra.
Stay safe.
See you next week.